Hi, everyone. My name is Michael, and I'm just a Kansas boy. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to this first video of mine. And you might be able to see behind me, there's lightning going on. We got a storm going on, a good old Kansas thunderstorm. So hopefully the thunder doesn't get too loud, but that's what's going on if you see that. Anyway, today I wanted to react to a video, and it's about Slovakia. Now, I know Slovakia isn't really the first country that most people think of when they think of Europe or even Eastern Europe, but Slovakia is kind of important to me. It's got a special place in my heart. And the reason for that is that I've got several family members who live in Slovakia or used to live. An aunt and uncle who lived there for a long time. My aunt is actually from Slovakia, and my cousin who lives there right now. And so I always love talking to them, hearing about the stories and the different culture and all of that. And I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about it. So I'm watching a video today by Petra Bodekova. Hope I said that right. And she's given me permission to react to her video. So thank you very much for that. And we're going to learn 10 things that make you Slovakian. So let's take a look.
Life abroad not only makes you see the differences between the countries, it also makes you reflect on your own culture. So in today's video, I'm going to do a slightly different identity test, reacting to the article 10 Things That Mean You're a Slovak, published by Slavorum. It's definitely worth a visit. I'm going to put the link below. So let's see how Slovak I am. Hey, this is Petra with Boundaryless, helping you to unleash your potential and make a difference across the globe. And what we do here is talking, creating a meaningful life abroad, tips for international success, and becoming your best self. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Alright, so let's get straight into it. Number 1. You correct teachers when they say Slovakia is located in Eastern Europe. Yeah, because it's clearly located in Central Europe. You see, country in Central Europe. And if Wikipedia says it, it has to be true. Number 2.
Oops. I just did that in the beginning of the video. So good for her on correcting me on that.
2. You need to repeat your name at least twice when introducing yourself. Oh yes, this is 100% true. I was Bodekova, Betekova, Bodkova, Betkova. Foreigners are simply so creative with confusing my name. But it's okay. I already asked for all souls to displease me for this year's Christmas. I'm serious. Just working in my name right. Number 3.
So I wish she would have said her name because I don't know if I actually said it right. Betekova? Betekova? I don't know if the accents are right on that. But it's funny that she mentions that because I've actually got a last name that is from Ukraine. My grandfather, his family immigrated from Ukraine towards the beginning of the 20th century. And so it's funny when my uncle moved over there to live in Slovakia for a while. People couldn't pronounce his first name, but they could pronounce his last name just fine because it was a Slavic name. And so I actually experienced that a lot over here, that people have a lot of difficulty with my last name. And it's funny because I could definitely relate to that.
You know that the tallest player in NHL has the same passport as you do. Well, I don't care. Number 4.
Nice.
You speak at least 2 languages that you never needed to learn. God bless the Czech. Oh yes, I even have it in my CV. Serious Czech language skills. Even though we never get to actually speak it, you know? Czech speak Czech and Slovak speak Slovak. Like when we talk to each other. And that makes sense. Anyway.
Wait, so is she saying that when they talk to each other, Czechs and Slovaks speak their own language, but they can understand it? Because I was always wondering how closely related some of those Slavic languages are, and I assumed that there's at least some crossover because they're a similar language family. I don't know. English is weird because I don't know if there's anything that's super close to English. I've heard some people say that Dutch kind of is, and all of that, but English is such a mishmash of so many different languages. I don't know. I'm always curious about that. So yeah, and also the ability to learn different languages growing up. That seems like a superpower to me because in America we just learn English for the most part, and that's changing a little bit now. But I would love to have grown up learning several different languages. That's so cool to me.
Number 5. You know that Hostel and Eurotrip do not reflect whatever Slovakia is about. Okay, so I never saw Hostel, but I saw Eurotrip once.
Bratislava? Yeah. Bratislava. Dear sweet mother of God, we're in Eastern Europe.
And seriously, guys, have you ever been to one of those shopping malls in Bratislava? All the fancy things that people buy. Watches, the cars that you see on the streets, clothes, more watches, and more clothes. Who cares that you don't have anything to eat for the rest of the month, right? The most important thing is that you live inside. Number 6.
It's funny because a lot of those cities are probably much more polished than rural cities here in the Midwest. I don't know. I'm just making an estimate, but I've seen some pictures and videos, and some of those European cities, even the small ones. Oh my goodness, they've got so much charm and character, and they're just lovely architecture. All of that. And I'm not saying that we don't have that here in the States, but it's I think it's really charming, and it's too bad that there's that stereotype that everything is dull and gray over there. I don't know. Anyway.
In your homeland, you do know the bridle way from the cops. You chase them. Oh yeah, an absinthe is not illegal over there. I don't quite get this one. Why would I chase the cops? Maybe after I drank absinthe? Well, that might bring some adventure into your life. Like waking up in a hospital next morning. Number 7. When drinking with Americans, you're always the one to finish the cap, because everybody around is already passed out. Well, this is strictly an Eastern Slovak thing. No stereotyping. Number 8.
So she's saying that there's a cultural difference between the east and the eastern part of Slovakia when it comes to drinking, apparently. And I would certainly fit in with the group of Americans because I am a crazy lightweight.
8. You do not have the middle name. So what? Who cares? At least one name less that people get wrong. Number 9. You take Coca-Cola over Coke, Martina over Bud Light. I have never heard of Martina, I'm sorry. Like never. Slivovica over Captain Morgan. Well, the last time I drank Slivovica, I got so drunk that I never drank it again. Movie by Jakubisko over movie by Tarantino. Well, honestly, I don't have time to watch movies. It is weird. And brinzové halušky over McDonald's. Hell yes, best food ever. To all my vegan friends, you don't know what you're missing on. Number...
Wait, I want to know. Somebody in the comments tell me what... I didn't even understand what she said, but it looked pretty good.
And this is the last one. You know that Janoschik could kick Superman's ass even he was on a damn wheelchair. Oh, this is so true. The one who robbed the rich and fed the poor. Classic. Even my nephew in Janoschik costume would totally kick Superman's ass.
Hej, musel by to chlapík, čo by ma chcel nabiť, vyberaný.
Alright guys, so I guess I'm pretty Slovak. Still. after all the years living abroad. So that's a good thing, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time on Banderillas.
All right, so that was 10 Things That Mean You Are Slovak by Petra Bodko. I'm sorry. Petra. Let's go with Petra. And thank you, Petra, again for letting me able to react to your video. Go ahead and check out her channel. I'm going to put it in the description below, a link to it. And that was a lot of fun. I'm going to have to react to some videos on some of the food because that looked interesting. And honestly, a lot of Midwestern food that we have here is fairly simple. It's I don't want to use the word bland, but and yeah, I can talk more about that some other video. But one thing that is interesting that I thought they might bring up but they didn't was I talked with my cousins, and they talk about something called a name day. And it's not like a birthday, but each day in the Slovak calendar has certain names that are attached to it. And so on that day, they celebrate people with that name, if I'm remembering it correctly. And that's a really interesting tradition and kind of neat to me. In the U.S., that would be a disaster because we have so many different cultures. It's such a big mixing pot and so many names. It would be ridiculous. But I think that's really cool. So I'd like to learn more about that as well. So if you've got some information on that, let me know. Put it down in the comments below. And with that being said, I will call it good on this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay curious, keep learning something new every day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.